I'm Andy, personal trainer at the Writing Gym. Welcome to Abdomination with Annalise. I'm excited to introduce you to this week's guest, but first, a word from our sponsor, Laurel Elite Books. Do you have an expert book burning inside you, but you just don't know how to get it onto the page? It takes forever to write a book, right? And what order should the information go on? It's all so overwhelming, right? Wrong. Laurel Elite Books exclusive entrepreneur retreats take you from concept to done in 8 weeks. They help you to create a book that not only has your name on it, but which you are proud to have your name on. And now I'd like to introduce our resident writing coach, the gal who helps you pump your writing into shape in the Writing Gym. And here's this week's quirk. Annalise is not only the writing coach extraordinaire, but also this week's guest. Welcome back to the Writing Gym podcast, Annalise Parent.
I'm so excited to be the writing coach and the guest.
Now look, a lot of you already know a lot about Annalise's expertise on writing from listening to the podcast, but today is my chance to brag a bit about her writing accomplishments. Annalise wrote for 3 seasons of a Telly Award-winning CBS television show, has co-written a novel, and has a solo women's fiction series and a book on writing that will be released later this year. Her book, Storytelling for Pantsers, will be out this July, and she will be speaking on her vision at the Writer's Digest annual conference in New York City. Annalise has been featured on Huffington Post Live for her novels, CBS, Associated Press, and Korean broadcast systems, as well as many podcasts and radio programs. She will also be a featured speaker this year at the Unicorn Writers Conference in New Jersey and Raise Your Voices, Africa Writers Conference in Port Harcourt, Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining us once again, Annalise.
It's so great to be here. Thanks, Andy.
So many entrepreneurs are not writers per se. They think it'll take forever to write a book. So how do you help dispel that myth?
Yeah, that's a really good question, Andy. You know, it is true that so many writers think it needs to be this complicated process. And it is true that when you sit down in front of the blank computer screen or a blank legal pad, it can feel really overwhelming to get your expertise out on the page. What order should it come in? How much detail should I go into? When should I supply an anecdote? Those kinds of things get writers really bogged down in the whole process. And what we do at Laurel Elite Books, where I'm a senior editor, is we help those writers to move very quickly through a succinct process to go from having a concept to having a book written in 8 weeks and then publishing that book through our publishing house. So it's a very unique product, and we're not only dedicated to that short time period, but it's really important to us to work with writers who, as you said earlier, they don't just want to have a book with their name on it, they want to have a book that they're proud to have their name on. So we're dedicated to high quality books, and what we mean by that is clarity. We want the author's message to be succinct and clear and also interesting. We want to help authors to create a page turner so that their books sell. And that's why our authors sell their books so well, because they're written well.
So it sounds like you guys have found this perfect blend of timing and quality.
Yeah, you're spot on with that, Andy. People want to get it done and they want to get it done now. And, we're not helping people get their books done overnight. There are operations that do that. And I'll be honest, I've read some of their books and they look like they were written overnight. So that's not the type of entrepreneur we want to write with. If you want your book done overnight, there are options there. We work through 8 weeks. We think that that's a really quick time to get a message out in a clear and succinct way, and also have that quality piece as I said, that's why so many of our writers sell their books well, not just to their mom and their high school best friend, but I mean, their clients really want their message. They want to buy those books, and strangers are buying their books, reading their message, and then hiring these entrepreneurs for speaking gigs to be their coaches, that kind of thing. So it's a really powerful way to get your message out there, to have a quality message that's well communicated so that people can really receive it in the very best way. And it leads to a lot of success, which is super exciting.
So what happens to, entrepreneurs and business people who don't have a book?
Yeah, that's a really good question, Andy. Not having a book is a real detriment to your business, to moving forward. We can't make statistics on, what happens if you don't have a book, but we certainly see statistically that people's audience numbers raise exponentially. We're looking at the number of people who come to their book signings. We're looking at the number of people who come to their talks on their book, because, if you've got a book and you're sending it out to venues and you say, look, not only am I an expert, but I'm the expert who wrote the book on it. That's the name of our Facebook group, if you want to look that up. But, I'm the expert who wrote the book on it. Look, it gives you that much credibility. Now, those business people, those entrepreneurs who don't have that, miss all of that, right? So they don't have the credibility. They don't have the audience. They don't have the following. They're not experiencing people coming up to them and saying, hey, I read your book. I want to hire you. Hey, I read your book. I want you to come speak at our conference, and I want to pay you really well for that. So, we talk a lot in social media about fear of missing out. Well, they are missing out. There's a whole arena that opens for people who have books. And for those entrepreneurs who don't have books, that door is closed to them because they don't have it. And let's be honest, it's not just about a book, because if you've written a book and it's all over the place and it's poorly organized and the sentence structure is out of whack, people might say, oh, wow, you've got a book. But as soon as they open it, they say, I'm not sure that this person is the person I want to have come speak for us, because this is going all over the place. So, people without a book, people without a good book are in a bad spot. And, Andy, a lot of our clients are people who come to us and they had written a book either on their own or with another organization that was one of those sort of 24, 48-hour kind of operations. And they say, so I've written this book. It did nothing for me. I have copies of this book sitting in the garage, or like I've sold 3 copies on Amazon. Nothing happened for me. And so they're looking to rewrite the book, to re-release the book as a quality product this time around, so that they can get these benefits that they haven't been able to get up until this point.
That's definitely something that we've talked about on the podcast a lot, is the difference between, writing a book and writing a quality book. And that's something that I think a lot of people struggle with. You write something on your own and you think it's good, you self-publish, and then you don't sell anything, and you're wondering what went wrong, why didn't anything good happen out of this? And especially if you are a business person, if you are an entrepreneur, that book needs to sell yourself, sell your product. And if that's not quality, then nothing's going to come out of that.
Yeah, you're spot on with that, Andy. And the thing that we talk about when we talk about self-publishing, and I can talk about this podcast because I'm familiar with it. I know when we had that feature on self-publishing, we were talking about how it really democratizes writing, and certainly it does, and you can get your message out there in the world, which is a benefit, but that doesn't mean that you're allowed to take shortcuts. It doesn't mean that you're allowed to just kind of put whatever out there. I mean, sure, you can do whatever you want, but it doesn't mean that people are going to buy it just because it's out there. So that's a really important point to keep in mind, that, even if you're not going through the traditional process of an editor and a publishing house, you've still got a stopgate when it comes to readers. And most books have a preview on Amazon. They're going to take a look at that. They're going to see that they don't understand what the heck is going on in this book, and they're not going to buy it. They're not going to want it. So, we are a traditional publishing house, so we're publishing through Laurel Elite Books, our organization, but we do offer authors the bulk of the control over everything. So, we really call it the best of both worlds because they get to choose their cover, they get to choose the layout, they get to choose the content. We're helping them to improve it. We're helping them to make it more marketable. And certainly we're giving them that feedback. But if we tell authors, that image on your cover is going to turn people off, or it's not balanced properly, we've got a whole team of people who work on that and their marketing expertise. And the author says, too bad, that's a picture of me when I was 3 and I want that picture. It will go to press that way because it's their book. So the authors do have a lot of control that they wouldn't necessarily have with the traditional publishing house. So we call it the best of both worlds, and we're really dedicated to that cooperation and partnership between us, the publishing house, and the author.
So can you give us a little more information about your system for helping entrepreneurs become authors?
Sure. So this is pretty exciting. So as I said, it happens over 8 weeks, and during those 8 weeks, the entrepreneur will work through an entire detailed system of 2 things. One, they're putting together a draft of their book from table of contents through conclusion and index if they choose to have one. So we work together online. So at that point, they're working from anywhere. Over those 8 weeks, they get one-on-one coaching and group coaching to get those books done. At the same time, they're working with the publisher. Her name is Faith, and they are getting their marketing platform set up. So part of what we offer is an entire social media platform plus a website for the book. So authors at that point can start to pre-sell their book, which is super, super powerful because they're selling copies before the book is even published, knowing that it will be done, that we've got a deadline, that they've got an actual publishing house behind this project that they're doing. So it's very exciting in that way. When the 8 weeks are up, they come to a 6-day retreat, and we choose beautiful locations on purpose so that people can really be inspired. So some of the locations are, we have one in New Hampshire that's all stone buildings, really beautiful. We've got a condo resort that we use in Vermont. We'll be offering a winter retreat on the Gulf Coast. So we go to places that are beautiful and inspiring, where people can get work done, and they're there to be inspired and perhaps relax a little bit. But there's a lot of work that happens there. They're spending their week in one-on-ones with both me and Faith, working on revising their book to the final draft and completing their marketing platform. They also get professional headshots. We have a photographer who comes in and does those for every author, and they're using those on their book, on the jacket of the book, and also on the website and social media and that kind of thing. So they've got professional pictures. The other thing that we give them that's really exciting is that they have a mock-up of the book. Their book cover is complete before they come to the retreat. So they've got that mock-up, and they can pose with the book for the website and that kind of thing as part of their photography, as part of their photo shoot. So that's a really exciting opportunity because those are great marketing photos. And the photographers we work with are amazing, and they really work with the brand. So, if we have an author who's kind of got a more silly marketing, they've done kind of funny poses and that kind of thing, or, you can dress up in a suit and be very official. So it's really specific to what your brand is and the message that you want to communicate. So that's really exciting. So during those 6 days, we work through the final draft, and then everybody goes home happy. the authors are done at that point. The book is finished, and they go home and they take a rest. And then Faith produces the book, and every author gets 500 hard copies of the book as part of the purchase price, as part of the retreat, as part of the process. Those are theirs to sell, keep, send to grandma, whatever they want to do with them. And then, of course, they can order additional copies as well. Their book is for sale on Amazon. They've got an ISBN, everything. It's really done for you. So, I guess a total of 9 weeks, if you count our retreat, takes you from I've got an idea for a book to I have a book done, and I've got the books in my hand. It's really, really, really exciting.
That's amazing and so fantastic to hear. I think that, that's something that, I've heard about like 24-hour retreats and things like that, but I can honestly say that, I've probably read a few sentences of a few of those books and haven't been impressed. So, knowing you the way that I do and knowing your own commitment to excellence, I'm very excited to see all of the expert books that are going to come out of this.
Thank you so much, Andy. Yeah, I've created this system to help these nonfiction writers, and of course I tried it out on myself for my book that's coming out, Storytelling for Pantsers. So that will be one of our flagship books for Laurel Elite Books, and also a demonstration of the power of this system and what it is that we can do.
So it sounds like your authors have a lot of success once they have a published book in hand.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these people are really skyrocketing. And, the thing about going through an experience like this with this much support is the confidence that you get in yourself, in your message specifically, right? So, I mean, your message inside and out after doing this kind of intense work. And that increases your sales, not only because people see you as this confident person who knows your message, but also because you're able to communicate that now in a clear way. Why? Because you just did it in your book. And so not only do you get more speaking gigs, but your speaking gigs are better, which means you get more speaking gigs. And not only are your conversations during networking events better, but you are making more connections. Why? Because your message is clear. You know exactly what it is you stand for. You're able to bullet those points without even having to think about it, because you've done that now for your book. And you've done it with a team of professionals who were there to support you, to help you through that thinking, to really put together your thinking in the most succinct way, in the clearest way, and in the most interesting way. And so all of those factors lead very quickly to the kinds of success that these specific entrepreneurs are looking for. Some of them, want to scale their business. Some of them want more speaking gigs. Some of them want more clients. Some of them want all of those things. And a well-written book can do all of those things and has done all of those things. And it's magic to watch. We haven't posted the stats on our website yet, but we'll get those up soon on where our authors have gone, how many books they sell overall, the kinds of opportunities that the books lead to. So we're overhauling the website at the moment, but that will be up soon.
That's really exciting. I'm very excited to see everything that comes out of this, and I'm excited to hopefully meet some of the authors and have them as guests and hear all of their fantastic success stories.
Oh, that's a great idea.
So, Annalisa, as you know, we have one very important question that we ask every single guest. So, if you could give one piece of advice to aspiring writers, what would it be?
I forgot about this question. I'm so excited I get to answer this. Quality first. It can be so tempting to want your name on a book. It can be so tempting to say, I'm done with this thing. I get those feelings. I get the feeling of frustration. I get that revision is a long, long road and a tough road. But the feeling of knowing that you've done something well is a great feeling of accomplishment. And having done something well brings that kind of quality into your life. you wouldn't go out, I hope. I guess there's a whole website dedicated to people who go out in this way, but like in your pajamas with your hair all over the place. Maybe you might go to the store that way, but you certainly wouldn't get up in front of your clients that way, I hope. And so we understand that having a quality presentation is important. And the same is true with your message. To the full extent that you can get your message out there in a quality, meaningful way, please make the effort to do it. And if you don't feel qualified to do it, that's fine. Find someone to help you.
That is such fantastic advice, Annalise. I want to say thank you so much for joining us. I mean, I know you're here every week, but getting to hear more about, your message and the things that are important to you is such a treat for everyone.
Thank you so much. It's been fun to be on this side of the podcast.